Hello everyone, welcome to Math Advice. In this video, I am going to explain how to calculate coefficient of correlation for a bivariate frequency distribution. Because in a bivariate frequency distribution, the data are summarized in the form of two-way frequency table. So now we are going to discuss how to calculate coefficient of correlation under this case. And the formula we have used to calculate correlation coefficient is R is equal to N sigma FUV minus sigma FU product sigma FV over under root N sigma FU square minus sigma FU the whole square under root N sigma FV square minus sigma FV the whole square. Look at here, the coefficient of correlation between X and Y is same as that of correlation between coefficient of correlation between U and V. Since based on the property that you know the property of correlation coefficient because it is independent of change of origin and scale. So due to this property, the coefficient of correlation between X and Y is same as that of the correlation coefficient between U and V. And we make use of this formula to calculate correlation coefficient for a bivariate frequency distribution. Here, U represents, that is defined as x minus a over h and v is equal to y minus b over k. Here h and k are the magnitude of the class intervals of x and y, and a and b here are constants, and here x and y represents the mid values in case of continuous series. With this short introduction, let me now move on to an example and discuss how to calculate correlation coefficient for a bivariate frequency distribution. Here the values of x and y are given. Both the values are given in terms of class intervals. Here x takes the values 200 to 300, 300 to 400, 400 to 500, 500 to 600 and 600 to 700. So all the values of x are in terms of class intervals. Likewise, y also takes the values in terms of class intervals, that is from 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25 and 25 to 35. In corresponding frequencies is given here. Now what we are going to do is, first, you know already by changing the scale and origin of x and y by transforming them into new variables, that is u and v, which is defined as u is equal to x minus a over h and v, which is defined as y minus b over k. Here x and y represents the mid values of x and y, and h and k represents magnitude of the class intervals, x and y. And a and b here represents a constant value. You may take any value, but arbitrarily we have to take the middle value as a. Now, let us first calculate or find out the middle value of the class intervals of x and y. So, mid values of x, which is denoted as lower cases, and mid value of y, which is represented as lowercase y. Now, you know already how to calculate the middle value of class intervals. If you don't know, you have to add both uppercase limit and lowercase limit and divide this by 2. You get the middle value of the class intervals. By adding lower class interval with upper class interval and divide this by 2, you get the middle value of the class interval. For example, 200 plus 300 is 500. When you divide 500 by 2, you get 250. 250 is the middle value of the class interval. And for 300 to 400, 350, 450, for this 550, and for this class interval, you have 650. So mid value of x are 250, 350, 450, 550 and 650. And middle value of class intervals of y are 10 to 10.5, sorry, 10 to 15. So here you have the mid value 12.5, here 17.5, 22.5, for this 27.5. So for y you have 12.5, 17.5, 22.5 and 27.5. Now we have to calculate the values of u and v. For that, u is equal to x minus a over h. So here x represents the mid value minus a. Arbitrarily we have to choose the middle value. So here the middle value is 450. I have to choose 450 as my a value. Over h. H is the width of the class interval or magnitude of the class intervals. Here all class intervals having the length 100. This is my u value. Next for v, v is equal to y minus b over k, that is y minus b. Here itself we have to take the middle value. Since we are having 4, either I have to take 17.5 or 22.5. Here I have to take 17.5 as my b value. So 17.5 over the length of the class interval here is 10 to 15. So the length here is 5 length. That is the magnitude of the class interval here is 5. So here v is equal to y minus 17.5 over 5. So by make use of this, we calculate the values of u and v. So now u is equal to x minus 450 over 100. Let us first take the value of x as 250. So if you take x as 250, you get u equal to 250 minus 450 over 100. We get 250 minus 450 is minus 200 over 100. So you get minus 2. And next we take x is equal to 350. So u is equal to 350 minus 450 over 100. So you get minus 100 over 100. So you get the value as minus 1. Next we take u is equal to 450. So if you take u is equal to 450, you get 0 because the numerator becomes 0. 450 minus 450 over 100. So you get the value here as 0. Next if you take 550, so u is equal to 550 minus 450 over 100. So you get the numerator plus 100 over 100, that is equal to plus 1. The last value 650. So if you take u is equal to 650 minus 450 over 100, that is equal to 200 over 100, that is equal to plus 2. So the values of u are minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. And for v, similarly we calculate values of v2 by taking y is equal to 12.5 up to 27.5. v is equal to, we know already, that is y is minus 17.5 over 5. So let me start with 12.5. So v is equal to 12.5 minus 17.5 over 5. So you get the value 5 minus 5 over 5. So when you divide this, you get minus 1. And next we take 17.5 minus 17.5, you get 0. So 0. Next value we take y as 22.5. 22.5 minus 17.5 over 5. So you get the value here as 5 by 5. So plus 1. And the last value 27.5. So 27.5 minus 17.5 over 5. So you get 10 by 5, this total as 2. So for the value of V here we have calculated as minus 1, 0, 1 and 2. So instead of taking the values of x in terms of class intervals, we have converted them into u and v, and now we go for our calculation part. So for that, now I am going to construct a table along with the values of u and v. Just now we have calculated. So v takes the value minus 1, 0, 1, 2 and u takes the value minus 2, 1, 0, 1, 2 and corresponding frequencies given here. Now we have to calculate these values for a calculation of correlation coefficient. So now let me start with the total. So how to calculate the total for the row and column values? You have to add this in terms of row wise. You write down the total here. Calculate the total in terms of column and write down the total here. So now 7 plus 3, 10. 4 plus 9, 13 plus 4, 17 plus 3, 20. 7 plus 6, 13 plus 12, 25 plus 5, 30. And 3 plus 10, 13 plus 19, 32 plus 8, 40. And adding all these values, you get 10 plus 20, 30 plus 30, 60 plus 40, 100. Likewise, you have to add these values in terms of column wise too. So 7 plus 3, 10. 6 plus 4, 10. 10 plus 10, 20. Here 9 plus 12, 21 plus 19, 40. Now 3 plus 4, 7. 7 plus 5, 12. 12 plus 8, 20. And 7 plus 3, 10. Adding them, we get 10 plus 20, 30 plus 40, 70 plus 20, 90 plus 10, 100. So you get the value of n. As a row total and column total, we get the value of n as 100. Now we calculate the value of FV square and FU square. 10 multiplied by minus 1, minus 10. 20 multiplied with 0, you get 0. And 30 multiplied with 1, you get 30. And 40 multiplied with 2, you get 80. Adding all these values, you get minus 10. So here you get plus 20, plus 80, 100. Next, FV square. So for that we have to square the value of V first, since the value of V here are minus 1, 0, 1, 2. So by squaring these values, V square takes the value from minus 1 square 1, 0 square 0, 1 square 1 and 2 square 4. Now we have to multiply this V square with the frequency F. So 10 multiplied with 1, you get plus 10, and 20 multiplied with 0, you get 0. Next 30 multiplied with 1, you get 30. And 40 multiplied with 4, we get 160. Adding all these values, we get 160 plus 30, 190 plus 10, 200. So before calculating the value of FUV, let's first calculate FU and FU square. So now we have to multiply the value of F, these values of F with U. These are the values of U, that is minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. So 10 multiplied with minus 2, we get minus 20. 20 multiplied with minus 1, you get minus 20. And 40 multiplied with 0, you get 0. And 20 multiplied with 1, we get 20. And 10 multiplied with 2, you get plus 20. Adding all these values, we get, so minus 40 plus 40 becomes cancelled. So sigma FU you get the total value as 0. Next, multiply the value of f with u square. These are the values of u. So first we have to calculate the value of u square. So u square is minus 2. Squaring the value of u, that is minus 2 square is plus 4 and minus 1 square is plus 1. 0 square is 0 and 1 square is 1 and 2 square is 4. Now we have to multiply the value of f with u square. So that is plus 10 with 4. 10 with 4, if you multiply 10 by 4, 40, and 20 by 1, you get 20. 40 multiplied with 0, we get 0. And 20 multiplied with 1, you get 20. And again 10 multiplied with 4, we get 40. Adding all these values, we get 60 plus 60, 120. Now we calculate the value of FUV. For that, first we have to calculate these values for individual cells alone, and we have to calculate its row total and column total. Now let me start with the first row. So here, and we have to write down that value in the upper right corner of the cell like this. So this is the frequency f, multiply with corresponding v value minus 1, u value plus 1. So when you multiply 1, minus 1 multiplied by 1 and 3, you get minus 3. And for the next, this cell, minus 1 q, that is minus 2, multiplied with 7, that is minus 2 7s are minus 14. So adding these two values, you get minus 17. And then next, so here one of the value becomes 0, so you get all the values of FUV here takes the value 0. Since one of the value of V, so in the product FUV, if any one of the value becomes 0, then the resulting value should be 0 itself. So no need to multiply the remaining value with 0. Next, for this row, 1 multiplied with minus 2, you get minus 2. Multiplied with 7, minus 14. And then minus 1 plus 1. 1 multiplied with minus 1, minus 1. Multiplied with 6, you get minus 6. And here itself, this column value becomes 0. So here itself you get 0 entirely. Because one of the value of u becomes 0 means definitely for this column, and here one of the value of v becomes 0. So this row and this column takes the entire values of FUV is 0 itself. Now next here 1 multiplied with 1 itself, multiplied with 5, 5. So adding all these values, we get minus 14, minus 6, minus 20, plus 5, that is minus 15. For this row you get 0, and for the last row 2 multiplied with minus 2, minus 4. When you multiply minus 4 with 3, minus 12. And for this 2 multiplied with minus 1, minus 2, multiplied with 10, minus 20. And for this 2 multiplied with 1, you get 2. 2 8s are 16. Adding all these values together, we get plus 16 minus 20. So you get minus 4 remaining, minus 12, minus 16. So adding all these values, we get 15, 16, that is 31, that is minus 31, minus 31, minus 17, minus 48. Likewise, we have to add the column total too. So minus 14, minus 12, minus 26. Here minus 6 minus 20 minus 26. Here you get 0. And here minus 3 plus 5. So remaining we have plus 2 plus 16. So plus 18. And minus 14 plus 0 you get minus 14. So here you have plus 18, here minus 14, so remaining plus 4. By adding these two you get plus 4. And plus 4 minus 26 you get minus 22. Minus 22 minus 26 is minus 48. So look at here, FUV both in terms of column total and row total becomes minus 48. So by make use of all these values of n, sigma FV square, sigma FU square and sigma FUV, we calculate the correlation coefficient. Now this is the formula we have used to calculate correlation coefficient for x and y. So now let me write down the values of n. N is 100. So here the value of n is 100. And then next sigma FUV. Sigma FUV is minus 48. And sigma FU square. And then we need sigma FV and sigma FV square. And sigma FU is 0 and FU square is 120. FU is 0, FU square is 120. And sigma FV is 100 and FV square is 200. This is 100 and FV square is 200. So by make use of all these values, we calculate the correlation coefficient for bivariate frequency distribution. Now let's substitute all these values in the given formula. We get n value is 100, sigma FUV is minus 48, minus sigma FU is 0 and sigma FV is 100 over under root n, that is 100, sigma FU square is 120 minus sigma FU the whole square, that is FU is 0, so 0 square is 0 itself, under root n value is 100, sigma FV square is 200 minus sigma FV the whole square, that is 100 whole square. Simplifying this you get, so multiplying minus 48 with 100 you get minus 4800. So 0 with anything you get 0. So under root multiplying 100 with 120 you get 12000, and under root 100 with 200 you multiplying you get 20000 minus 100 square is 10,000. Simplifying all these values we get so minus 4,800 over under root 12,000 and under root 20,000 minus 10,000 is 10,000. So this is equal to, so RXY RUV, that is equal to minus 4,800 over under root 12,000 multiplied by 10,000. Not to simplify the calculation, just cancelling. Under root we have to cancel 40. So outside the root we have to cancel only 20. That's enough, isn't it? So minus 48 over and root 120 multiplied with 100. So 120 with 100 we get 12,000, and if we take the square root of this, we get 109.54. We have to take up to 2 decimal places, so 109.54. so minus 48 over 109.54, and you divide 48 by 109.54, you get 0.4381. We have to take up to 2 decimal places, so 0.44. So minus 0.44. So the correlation coefficient between x and y is minus 0.44. So based on this, our interpretation is there is a low negative correlation between x and y. Negative correlation between x and y. Hope you got a clear idea about how to calculate coefficient of correlation for a bivariate frequency distribution. Thanks for watching. See you again in my next video.